I'm Caitlin Matson-Levy. This is a Classical Cafe. Alan Held is a familiar name to most people listening because he is a world-renowned opera singer and he is also the head of opera at Wichita State University. We have Alan with us in the green room along with two students from Wichita State University Opera Theater, Callie Cooper, Colt McElwam, joining me in the green room because they are busy rehearsing for their upcoming production of the Kansas premiere of The Scarlet Letter. Hello, Alan.
Good morning. Or it's actually afternoon now,
We've
but
passed over. We've
oh
passed
yes, we're
over.
on the
It's
we're on the
noon.
dark side. But I thought how appropriate it was that you were playing Salome just before.
Yes.
That's my most performed opera. Well, maybe my second most performed opera, but I love the piece, and I thought, golly, that's a great introduction. So
Isn't it? Oh, sometimes things just work out. And although people can't see it right now, you do have the head of John the Baptist in your Zoom frame.
absolutely. On my coat rack in my office here, I put that, several years ago. Whenever I travel around the world singing Salome, of course, John the Baptist loses his head. It's cut off. And they always make a model of my head for use during the opera for the final scene. And one year they let me keep one. And so it's been on my coat rack. And when people walk down the hallway and look in the window, it scares them, to death. And so I love it.
What production is that head from?
I think that's from the Chicago production, the lyric opera of Chicago production of Salome. So
It's exciting times over there at Wichita State University. Doing an opera like The Scarlet Letter, it's a Kansas premiere. Tell us a bit about this particular work.
Laurie Laitman is somebody who composed this opera, is someone who I met, believe it or not, on Facebook. I knew of her writing and of her songs that she has been writing and that our students have been singing for many years. And we got into a conversation about her other works, and she said that she had a version of a newer opera, this has been a few years ago, of The Scarlet Letter. And I thought, well, it's such a famous story. Would you send me the libretto and send me some of the samples of the music? And she did. And I thought, well, this is a very accessible piece for students. And also, it's a story that so many of us read in high school English class, and we know. And I thought, well, it'd be very relatable to the students. It'd be appropriate for our times. And the music, she has done a fascinating job of melding the music and the text together. And so I am thrilled that we are the first university in Kansas to do this. You may remember about 2 or 3 years ago, we were the first company of any kind, professional or amateur, that presented The Path to Heaven. Was the North American premiere. So here we're bringing another important, fairly new opera to Kansas for the first time. It has been done at 2 other college campuses and 1 professional company, but for us to have the chance to bring it with our students, we're really thrilled.
The Scarlet Letter received its world premiere with Opera Colorado. Is that correct? It was when it was
That's
first performed.
the professional premiere.
The professional premiere, Opera Colorado, and there's a recording out of that performance, like the one and only recording. It's a new enough work. There's only one, and I think it must be so delightful for your students and everybody there to kind of be able to be a part of something that was recently created, that its creator is still alive and well and emailing you, and it have a kind of an open door policy to ask questions.
Absolutely, and she's been very accessible to me. And in a couple of weeks, because she is so busy, we had hoped she would be able to come to campus during this, but she won't be able to because of her schedule. But we're going to do an online Zoom class together, and she's just so accessible. We can ask her anything, and she's still making changes. She's making changes to the music. She's making changes to text. And she says, on the 3rd scene, on the 12th page, on the 9th measure, I'd like to change this. I'd like to change this. And that's exciting. It's a little challenging, but it really makes it fresh all the time as well.
Yeah, it's great. It feels, I mean, anytime you create something, it feels important. So I don't want to say that everything else we create isn't, but there's
No.
something about being a part of that process, which really truly feels like you're a part of something very important.
Well, absolutely. And the thing that's nice about this is many contemporary pieces, especially contemporary vocal pieces. Well, we always have to express the text, and she said that so well. But sometimes the music can be jarring to audiences who aren't used to contemporary music. She didn't write this opera that way. this opera has a lot of recognizable tunes in it. It really relates to that Puritan sound. There's a lot of open sounds in the piece that are really not as challenging. I think people will find, well, gee, that wasn't as challenging as a 21st century opera that we thought it might be. It's as far as the sound to the ear, and it's very approachable, very accessible.
Wichita State University Opera Theater presents the Kansas premiere of The Scarlet Letter by Lori Laitman, April 8th and 9th at 7:30 at the Dirksen Fine Arts Center. For tickets, go to the College of Fine Arts box office, or you can call 316-978-3233. We'll be back in just a couple of moments and talk with two of the students who are involved in the production, Callie Cooper, who plays Hester Prynne, and Cole McElwam.
Perfect.
I got it right. Cole, forgive me, Cole McElwam. Now I'll never get it wrong again. We're going to be talking with the both of them. Cole plays Reverend Dimsdale. We'll be back with Alan Held and members of the Wichita State University Opera Theater. Treat yourself to a night at the opera. You have an opportunity to do so next weekend with Wichita State University Opera Theater, putting on the Kansas premiere of an adaptation of Nathaniel Hawthorne's novel, The Scarlet Letter, music by and lyrics. Is she also the lyricist, Alan?
No, she's not the librettist. The story is very much on Nathaniel Hawthorne's text, but the libretto is by David Mason.
David Mason, librettist, Lori Laitman, the composer. I'm talking with Alan Held, world-renowned opera star and now professor of opera at Wichita State University. We love that for us. And I have two of his students. It's good to be home. Callie Cooper. Callie, hello.
Hi.
Tell us a bit about the role you play.
Hester Prynne is a young woman in a Puritan society, and so she came over on the boat, and she was actually married, but her husband did not come with her, and so she arrived alone and thought her husband dead, and so she started an affair with the Reverend Dimsdale, and they had a child, and then she was deemed an adulterer. And so that's kind of where the story starts. And so we see the next 7 years of her life.
What's it like being involved in a contemporary opera production?
It's very exciting and interesting that the music is really living, like we were talking about. It's always changing. I've just so enjoyed it. It's a really fresh take, I think. And yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from a suburb of Washington, D.C. called Vienna, Virginia.
How did you find your way to Wichita?
Oh, long story. No, I actually did my undergrad at University of Minnesota, Twin Cities.
Okay.
And so I then just started applying to graduate schools, and Wichita had been on my radar because of Professor Held, who I'd seen perform a few times in Washington, D.C. And so it just worked out.
How wonderful. Now, what else have you performed at Wichita State? Is this your first year or your second year?
This is my first year, and last semester I was Arminda in La Finta Jardinera.
I love all of this for you. I love the fact that we get you from Washington, D.C. I always love to hear that Wichita State University is on the radar of musicians all around the country. I think it speaks volumes for the work going on at Wichita State. Now, Luke McElwam.
Oh.
I did it again. Cole McElwam. Hey, Cole McElwam, where are you from?
I am from a small town in Wisconsin.
And how did you find your way to Wichita State?
Just like Callie, I went to the University of Minnesota, but I had heard of Wichita because of Professor Held and because of Samuel Ramey, his connections with the university. It really put it on my radar. And so I applied here. And I also worked with a guy at the University of Eau Claire. And Wichita and Eau Claire kind of have this sister school Italian program that they do together.
So did the two of you, you and Callie, you knew each other before you both came here?
Yes, we're best friends.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And now they're playing. very close friends.
Now you're playing.
Well,
Now you get to play love interests.
That's right.
So on the subject of, in embodying characters, you're not only singers, you're not just vocalists, you're actors. And part of your job is to truly embody whomever it is you're portraying. So when you talk about this Puritan society, Cole, when we talk about the fact that you play a reverend who kind of is suddenly in this internal struggle for his soul and his mortality, how do you relate to that as, a 20-something-year-old living in the year 2022?
It's difficult. It's not easy. The Reverend, he has this status within the community. People really look up to him. But then he's stricken with this guilt and this inner turmoil that he just goes completely mad. And at first it was hard to kind of get into that crazy, messy psyche that he has. But once I started to really let loose and, Professor Held has me running all over the stage, it got easier to be in the character. And the way that Laitman uses the music to really emphasize the drama really helps to get into the zone and get into that character.
Callie, what do you find to be the most vocally demanding part of playing Hester Prynne? Is there a certain scene? Is there a certain moment where leading up to it, you're like, here it comes?
Yes, the forest scene where we finally see Hester and Arthur back together, where they loved each other so many years ago, and that's really like the climax of the work. And so there is some very high notes, and there is some running around the stage, and it's great. But it feels like such a release in the music and the emotions of the characters.
Do you look forward to that as well? Is that a moment that you look forward to?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, gosh, I love those.
All this running around the stage, you have to realize you have to be in shape to come and study opera at Wichita State.
Many people don't realize until they're up there doing it. It's kind of a prerequisite. You mean you're marathoners, essentially. All right, so The Scarlet Letter by Lori Laitman at Wichita State University, April the 8th and 9th at Dirksen Fine Arts Center. Tickets are available at the College of Fine Arts box office. Call 316-978-3233. I can't thank the three of you enough for joining me today to speak a bit about what's coming up. I am thrilled for you both, Cole and Callie. I love the fact that you're best friends and you've traveled to Kansas together, and now you're playing opposite one another on the stage. Somehow it just works. It's fitting, isn't it?
There you go.
It does.
There you go.
Alan, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Yes, toy.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.